Okay, so I think we are going to start now. It's already 5:03. So hello and welcome everybody to our first webinar. My name is Rocío Bonachera. I work as marketing team leader at Slidesgo, and I will be presenting the webinar today. Before we start, I want to let everyone know that we are live on Zoom and possibly on YouTube, but remember, you will only be able to send your questions through Zoom. So feel free to leave all your questions in the chat, and at the end of the session, we will try to answer all of them, okay? So in this session, we are going to talk about infographics and their practical use. Together with me will be my colleagues, Paola Moriano and Carmen González. They both work as art directors at Slidesgo, and they will be teaching you all the secrets about infographics. And with us is also Paola Trujillo, marketing technician, who will be collecting all your questions so we can read them at the end. So don't be shy and take advantage of all the knowledge of our art directors. We are going to start with a brief introduction of who we are. Then we will give you a context of infographics. We will teach you how to edit them. You will also learn the different types of infographics that exist. We will go through a practical case and we will finish with the questions. So it's time to start. How many of you know Slidesgo already? Please tell us in the chat if you have ever used Slidesgo templates. And in the meanwhile, for those of you who don't know us yet, we are part of a pretty big company. We are based in Malaga, in the south of Spain, and we were born in 2019 with a very clear mission. We wanted to create high quality and easily editable templates for everyone. The way it works is really simple. You just have to go to slidesgo.com. You go and search for a topic that interests you or navigate through the different categories, and then you download the template you like the most in Google Slides or PowerPoint formats, whatever you like most. But you can also say, okay, but what's the difference between you and other similar websites? Our value proposition is based on these 6 pillars that you can see right now. We work with professional designers that are up to date with the latest prefix company trends and resources. Our templates are 100% easily customizable, and they always include tailored resources adapted to the topic. Also, we include storytelling techniques and all the principles of visual communication to impact your audience, as well as other high-impact elements such as animations and diagrams that make the content more interactive. And we have adapted in formats and color variants in order to adapt to our users' needs. So now that you know what we do, let's get down to work. And now my colleague, the art director, Paola Moriano, is going to tell you about the concept, context, and editing of infographics. So Paola, whenever you like.
Thank you, Rocío, for the introduction, and hello, everyone. So as Rocío said, first of all, I'm going to explain what an infographic is, and I'm going to talk a bit about the background. I think I can change the slide. Oh, yeah. Sorry. So the word itself is made of 2 words, info plus graphic, that means visual information. So we can define an infographic as a visual representation of information and data that combines elements such as images, video, graphs, or diagrams. And in short, it is a visual representation of complex data. To put you into context, I'm going to explain shortly the beginning of the infographics and their evolution, starting from the oldest infographics, going to more than 40,000 years ago, until the new technologies. If we go back to more than 40,000 years ago, we discovered that visual images came before text. In prehistory times, we have seen how the first Homo sapiens made explanatory drawings to teach their children hunting techniques when the alphabet did not even exist yet. This is the beginning of the human need to reflect the data through drawings. And you can see an example here of it. From the, oh, sorry. From Egyptian times in the 20th century before Christ, we can find a mixture of text with visual elements, hieroglyphics, in which they explain their activities, dynasty, and the vision of the cosmos. And you can see here another example. When we reach the Renaissance in the 16th century, Leonardo da Vinci is known as one of the first infographics man who showed his research with graphics and text. Initially, they were more difficult to understand until he began to make them more detailed. From the 17th century onwards, a boom of computer graphics began with Christoph Schneider, who created the computer Rosa Lucina to show that the sun was not perfect. This boom continued in the 18th century with the first infographic resource in a newspaper in 1702 about the Bay of Cadiz. It went from explaining the attack in 10 pages to a single page with an illustrations to some annotations. In the 19th century, we find the first woman infographist, Florence Nightingale, and finally, it was in the 20th century where the great boom of infographics in journalism arrived. It was in the 21st century when new technologies appeared, and Slidesgo was born with the aim that any user without knowledge in infographics or graphic design can create and modify an infographic. Now that we have in mind what an infographic is, and we know a little bit more about the background, I'm gonna have a look about their functions. First of all, we use infographics to inform and synthesize information, adding the key and the most important information. Also, they let the person viewing the infographic visualize and understand complex information shortly. Last but not least, with infographics, we can represent data using graphs according to the information we want to represent. To create an understandable infographic, there are some steps we need to follow. First of all, it is important to ask ourselves six questions that are what, who, when, where, how, and why. To have in mind not only what we want to communicate in the infographic, but who is going to be the person that is gonna see our infographic. Secondly, all visual information must be understood before starting to read the text. It is essential to use images or illustrations and graphics to represent the information. Images should be clearly represented so that people can better understand what you want to communicate. And finally, we need to check that there are no errors or contradictions in our infographic. So, what is important to use graphs? We use graphs because they capture the user attention, they illustrate the message and make it clear, not misleading it, and they facilitate the comparison of different elements. To make it clear, now I'm going to show you a comparison of the data versus an infographic. The data is shown in different text, and it's harder to get all the information at a glance. As you see, you need to read everything carefully to get all the information. Meanwhile, the infographic has the same information, but easier to understand briefly. In this case, the information is separated into 3 different areas, and in one area we have some text with the general information about the user. On the other area, we have some icons for the contact. And there is a third area with some percentages of the professional activity. We can compare here both the data and the infographic, so you can see in one slide what I've explained. You can see that the data is harder to get, while on the infographic you have all the information just at a glance on one side. We have some suggestions for your infographics, depending on what you want to show to the person that is going to view the infographic. So you can use two different types of graphs. On one hand, we have composition charts that are circular charts that displays data in terms of proportion and percentages. While on the other hand, we have comparison charts that are used to compare values with each other. We can compare various categories or how a value changes over time. When we talk about composition, we have static and dynamic charts. The static charts show the composition of a total value, and we can use pie charts or waterfall charts, for example. And on the other hand, dynamic charts show a total value that changes over time. And we can show this data using bar charts or line charts. And when we talk about comparison, we can make this comparison with objects or with time. When we compare with objects, we can use data tables or bar charts, for example. And when we compare with time, we can use line charts or column charts. Now that we all know a little bit more about infographics and about the background, we're going to show you some data about our infographics in Slidesgo. As it was said before, our goal is that any user who is not an expert in graphic design or infographics can use our resources in the easiest possible way. So choosing Slidesgo to create your infographics, you will find more than 1,200 infographics ready to edit. Some of them with real information, almost ready to use. We've got infographics focused on different sectors such as business, education, marketing, or medicine. And we've got instructions and tutorials in our website to show you how to use your own data. And finally, talking about our numbers, this year we had a total of 4,721 infographic downloads and a total of more than 39,590 users.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paola, for such information. Remember, you can leave all your questions in the chat, which is now available. I have seen that you are watching us from different parts of the world, which makes us very happy. We will try to answer all of the questions at the end of the session. We're trying to compile them. And now it's turn for Carmen González, who will explain the different types of infographics that exist. And she will also show us a very interesting practical case. So Carmen, please.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm Carmen, and I'm also a director at Slidesgo, same as Paola. And I'm going to talk through about the types of infographics that we have in Slidesgo. So in Slidesgo, we actually part the infographic templates in two. So from one hand, we have the topic templates, which are templates that offer different infographics about the same topic. These templates usually have the same style. So they have like a white background, black text, the same fonts, and they are more focused on business and company infographics themes. And then we have the style templates, which are presentations that are designed in the same styles of previous successful templates. It means that, for example, if we have a maths infographic, a maths presentation that has been very successful on the web, we create an extra presentation of infographic for that presentation. So it will have the same style, same font, same colors, all of that. You will see the difference between these two in a few slides that I will have both at the same slide. So these ones are the categories we have in our website at Slidesgo. So we actually part the infographics in these 11 categories. And now I'm going to go through all of them, and I'm going to explain you the difference between them. So the first one is the chart infographic. Charts infographic are basically infographics that are based on graphics. First of all, I wanted to say that here you can see the difference that I was saying before with the topic template and the style template. So the ones that we have at the top are topic templates, the ones that have the white background, black text, a style very clean and simple. And the one we have on the bottom part, it's actually infographic presentation that we built for a presentation that it was already done. So you can see the first slide that it's a cover of the presentation, and then we create the infographic presentation. So all of the categories that I'm going to explain are set up this way, so you can see how we have the different categories in both of our templates. So here, as I was saying, the charts infographics are infographics that are used with graphs. We usually build the graphs in two ways. One of them is Google Sheets and the other one is Google Slides. What's the difference between them? Google Sheets allows us to add more content. So if we are going to create a graph that has 1,000 of numbers or very small numbers, we will do the chart through that tool. But instead, if we only have two numbers, like the ones we have at the bottom, then we'll create graphs with Google Slides. I will show you later how to do both of them, but here you have an idea. Then we have the diagram infographic. These infographics are very helpful to connect the different components of the same set. So imagine we want to do an organigram of a company, or maybe we want to build a family tree. So this is the right way to do it, and the easiest one to see how everything is set in place. Here you can see quite difference we have from one topic template and one style template, but above all, it's the same information with the diagram infographic. Then we have the hierarchical infographics. In these ones, we have a clear hierarchy. So we mainly use organizational charts, pyramids, and funnels, but we also have radial infographics in here. So in here, we want to focus on the hierarchy. So that's why we use this kind of style. You can see on the top ones that they are mainly funnels because we are trying to be very clear about the hierarchy, but on the ones of the bottom, the radial ones are more used. Then we have the loop infographics. On these ones, we show a cyclic process. So in these infographics, the content actually doesn't stop. We won't say that it has a beginning and also an ending. It's just that the content goes on as a loop, as its name said. We can see it on the top ones that the loop is very clear to see, but if we look at the bottom ones, although we have numbers on the last slide, and that goes from 1 to 6, the loop still is going on with the line, so that would make that infographic a loop infographic, because the data doesn't stop, it goes again from the beginning. Then we have the map infographic. As its name said, map infographics are the ones that contain maps. These ones are very useful when we want to represent some location, routes, demographics, but also to explain something about a country, for example, not only using a map. You can see on the first slides that we have an infographic presentation of United States geography. So in these ones, we don't usually use the map itself. So we use a mixture between, for example, in the first slides, we have some columns, we have some icons, but then we have the map. On the second one, we have the connectors, the colors, and the third one, we have the charts and the map. So altogether makes a really great map infographic that have all the content we need. On the ones we have the bottom, for example, we have a map of Europe, and then we have the columns and some colors. So it makes us very easy to represent, for example, the data of a company that wants to talk about their audience in Europe. So this is a very easy way to do it and very graphic way of doing it. Then we have the planner infographics. We usually build the planner infographics with tables, and I will show you later how to do them. The planners infographics are the ones that we use mainly for planning system. we have here some calendars, but we also have not only calendars for the month, but also for the day. So the great thing about design and also about infographic is that you can represent the same thing in a different way, depending of what are your needs. So for example, here on the first ones, we have 3 different ways of representing a month. On the first one, you can see that we can add some tasks if they are done, if they are not, some notes. But then on the second one, we can only just add, select the day we want. So that's the great thing about the planner, that we can actually use them in a different way. And the same goes for the bottom ones that are based on a daily planner infographic. But the same as said before, is the same information represented in a different way. Then we have the process infographics. These ones are very similar to the loop ones, but with the difference that in here, the process infographics starts and then ends. It doesn't go around again. So for example, here we have a filmmaking process infographic, which all of the slides are process infographic, because we were talking about doing a film. So here we can show the process of them. As I said before, it's the difference between this one and the one from the loop, because this actually ends, it doesn't start again. Then we have the resume infographics, which are the ones we use for representing a CV. Resume infographics are actually a mixture of different tools that we have. For example, here we have some timelines, we have some graphs, bar graphs, and the mixture of all of them gave us a resume infographic. It goes for both examples. Then we have the roadmap infographic. In this one, we define a strategic plan to reach a goal. The aesthetic here is clearly a roadmap, as you can see, because it represents very well where we want to go. So these ones, for example, are very useful, not only for marketing or business company, but also if we are doing something like the ones that we have on the bottom, that it's a driving center. So the style is the perfect one for that. Then we have the table infographics. These ones are made with tables. It doesn't need to have numerical data in it, but it actually have schedules, ranking, comparison, budget. You can add everything you want in a table. It's a really easy tool to create an infographic, and you don't really have to have too many tables. In the first ones, we actually have just one table, but we split the table in different columns and rows so we can have that aesthetic. Then, and I think that is the last one, we have the timeline infographics. So timeline infographics are very similar to the process one, but with the difference that in here we actually represent the time. So in timeline infographic, we will always, or most of the time, will have dates, months, phases, but something related to time. So for example, on the bottom one, we have some timelines with years, and on the last one, we have steps, but they are all a representation of time. So now I'm going to do a practical case. But first of all, for a practical case, we need to know how to choose an infographic. So if we go to our website, which is here, this is the way it looks. We have actually here a small tag that says infographic, and we can look for infographics down here. But I would recommend you also to use the search tool, because if you have in your mind very clearly what you want to look for, it will be easier to find the content. So imagine that I want to download infographic about leadership. I will type the word, and also I will type infographic, because then I will get all the results that has both words, Whereas if I just type leadership, I will only get, well, I will get both, either presentations that are and that are not infographics. So let's look for leadership infographics. Okay, so what a great thing that we have in our website is that you can actually see the content we have without having to go into the specific template. So for example, I can go through the slides and see the difference between them in the same theme. So this is great to know which one I want to download, and I want to get this one. So while that is charging, there are two ways of download our presentations in general. On the one hand, we have the option of downloading the presentations in Google Slides, and then we have the option to do them by PowerPoint. I recommend you doing it through Google Slides because it won't take room of your computer, whereas if you do it from PowerPoint, you will need to download it and it will take some space from your computer. So when you download it from Google Slides, it will open a new window. But if you do it through PowerPoint, it will go to your download folder. So I want them in Google Slides. So it will go, and then this message will appear. And yes, I do want to make a copy. And a copy is created from the website. So this is the way we have to download an infographic. So how our infographics work and how we actually build them to be as useful as possible for the user. In all of our presentations, infographic presentations, the content is grouped so the user can actually take it and move it around. So if you want to delete something from anywhere, it's very easy to take it and just delete it. Also for editing the content, it's very easy because once you hit it, you can change the content. And I want to write here about something. So as you can see, it's very easy. Yeah, so all of the content that we have, it's grouped, so it's very easy. This graph, as I was saying before, this has more than 2 numbers. It's done by Google Slides. Google Sheet. I will show you how to edit in a minute. Then another important part that we have on our infographics are the connectors. So if we go through our infographics, you will see that we use connectors a lot because it's a very easy thing to show the user where the information comes from or where it needs to go. So here, for example, as I said, everything is grouped. So the great thing about the connectors that we have in our presentation is that you can actually take one group and move it, and this small piece won't move. So this is why we actually have everything set and in place with transparencies, that it won't be hard for you because you won't have to do anything. I'm just saying it because you can see how it's built and how you can move everything and it will be in the right place. If it wasn't like this, if I were moving the group, it will go away if it wasn't this way. So it's bear in mind that our content is always grouped, so it's easier for you to move. Then we have the tables, and as I said before, I was going to show you how to create tables. We actually have one table here. I like, where is the one I like? I like this one. This one is the one, for example. So Imagine I want to create a completely new table. So I just need to go to Insert, Table, and then here I will get to the rows and the columns. Once I have it here, I just need to write something. I always like to create a calendar or something like that. What if I have created a calendar and I don't have enough columns for the calendar? I can do right click and insert one column on the right and then one column on the right, and then I will have all of my 7 days, and the same goes for the rows. So that's the way of inserting a table. What if I want to change the way of this table looks? Imagine just want maybe 3 persons, then I will take this, I put the mouse, and then I delete them. What if maybe I just want this out as well? It's the same. Okay, but now I have the problem that on the right part, I don't have the line. So I take this column. There's a small arrow here. So if you click here, there's a part where you have all of the corners, you hit the edge that you want to color, and here on the top, you put the right color. So now you have your table. What if now I want to add a new row below, and maybe I want this content to be merged. So I merge the cell and I put yes here. Whilst as here I put no and no. So as you see, tables are very easy to use and they are very useful. Then we have the Google Sheet graphs, as I said before. So I'm going to edit one Google Sheet graph for you. So basically, I know it's a Google Sheet because here I have this small message that said that it's a Google Sheet graph, but also because if I hit it, I can see a small window here with the logo of the Google Sheet. So I just have to click and make a copy. So this is very easy to change the data. So I have here the exactly graph that I have before. So just imagine that I want to delete one of the columns. Imagine that I want to other one. Okay, I want to delete that one. So this one. So I delete. What's great that I can change the percentage as well, and it will do it without any problem. So now here, this one, yeah, it goes to up to 100. And what if I want to put it on the same place it was before? So I just take the graph. I usually use my commands, Control-C to copy. And here, paste it. If you are going to keep working on that graph, I recommend you to paste it this way so you can still changing it. So for example, I'm going to do the example. So if you paste it, so if you paste the graph, you see this small element here. That means that if I keep changing the data, then I can update it. So it will update. So once you finish with your content, you just need to unlink it, and then you. So if you don't want to lose the content, you only need to copy this link and put it the way it was here. So you won't lose the data and you won't lose the graph. Then we have the Google Slides graphs, which are very easy to adapt. Let me find the one I have in this presentation, which is this one. So these graphs are Google Slides data. Why I know that? Because it doesn't have the small message I have it before. And because when I hit it, it's editable. So here, for example, I can take this piece and move it around. So it's what I was saying before, that for when we want to represent small data, this is the easiest way to do it. And to build this kind of graphs, you will have it right on here. So for example, this one is created with a circle with outline, and then this piece, it's a line. That would be this one here. So I enjoy you to play with Google Slides because it has a lot of things to create. You can create a lot of things with it. Then I'm going to, well, as I was saying before about finding an infographic about a theme in particular, we also can have the option that maybe we want to do a presentation from scratch. We want to use a new presentation. We have seen this webinar and say, okay, I want a presentation, but I want it with its actual infographic presentation. So how I do it? So I would do it this way. I would actually go through the infographic tag that I have here, filter. So once I filter through infographics, here will be the both types of infographics we have. Here you can see the difference between the ones from topic and the style. So now we will be looking for an style infographic. So imagine I want a math presentation with an infographic. That's why I'm here in infographic, because I want one presentation that has its own infographic presentation. So just I'm looking for maths because I want a math presentation. So once I hit here the subjects, they will appear all the presentations of infographic, of actual presentations that has been very successful and has its own like brother, I can say. So once I open it here, you see that both of them will be appearing. So for example, we have the infographic here, but then we have its the first one that we create, which was the actual presentation of maths. To download it, it's the same way. You can do it through Google Slides to PowerPoint. I actually have them right here. So I have here my presentation of maths, and then I have here my presentation of infographic. The great thing about this type of infographics of presentation is that, as you can see, the style it's perfectly matching the presentation. So you can see very well how it works all together. So just imagine that I have this graph and I don't want this graph anymore. I want to represent it in another way. I would create a new slide. I would go to my math infographic presentation. I would take maybe, I like this one. So I would take all of this. I would copy it. And I would go to the original one and I will paste it. So now I have a presentation that has more content to it, just because I have the matching one. So remember that if you want to, if you're looking for a presentation from scratch and you know that we have these siblings presentations, I recommend you to look them in this way from this small part. So it's easier for you to find the content and to have more information. So here I was showing about the pasting the content, and the same goes here in the GIF for the Google slide graph. So for more information about how to use our tools, I invite you to go to Slidesgo school, so you can find a lot of information from Slidesgo. And now my colleague.
Thank you very much, Carmen. It was very entertaining and interesting. I think our users really loved this last part with the practical case. And well, that was it from our part. We hope you took a lot of notes that you can put into practice from now on. And now it's your turn. We are looking forward to answering your questions. And for that, we are going to welcome Paola Trujillo. Hi, Paola.
Hi.
Any questions to answer?
Yeah, we have a lot of questions, so maybe it's your turn to ask if you want to, you can write more question in the chat box, okay, if you want to. Okay, so the first question, okay, is that, do these slides comply with the US American with Disabilities Act? Can people using adaptive technology access these slides? I don't know if Carmen or Paola can answer this question.
I think it depends partly on the browser. We don't really know about the American Act because we are based in Spain. We are working on making the contrast of the images compliant with the standards, but of course there are elements that are browser dependent. Anyway, if you want for the person who made these questions, you can send us your email address privately and we will give you an answer in detail if you need more information, okay?
Okay, thank you, Rocío. So here we go with the next question. People are asking if we have this presentation in Spanish, if we can, or also I have seen that people are asking if we can send the presentation at the end of the meeting to them. I think that we are going to upload the whole webinar to YouTube, so you can see again the whole live.
Yes, we will try to upload the whole webinar so that you can watch it again and take some notes and revise all the content. And we will try to do it tomorrow. And we will send you an email for those of you who registered through the link with Zoom. We will try to send you an email tomorrow with the link of the replay for those of you who want to watch it again, or for those of you who couldn't make it at this time and want to watch it tomorrow.
Okay, so the next question, is it possible to create short video science infographics?
I
think this one is for Carmen and Paola.
I can answer it if you want, Carmen. I mean, is it possible? Yes, because it's possible to create infographic videos. I don't know if it's the correct answer you are looking for, but infographics normally are made of visual elements and graphics, but there is another way of making it that is with videos and some animations. So yes, it's possible.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if the person that asked this question is happy with the answer, if she or he wants to ask something else, but
if you
yes.
have more doubts, you can ask on the chat box and we will try to explain it again with more details if you need it. Okay, so, okay. And the next question, when I make my design, I can put video in the slide. Maybe this is similar to this one, that is the next one.
I don't know if Carmen or Paola can even show us like a practical case very quickly of how to insert a video and how to link a video. I mean, the different possibilities that we have to insert.
Yeah, video. Sure. Yeah. So for presentations, we actually we can't add videos the same way we can add pictures. So for example, when we add content here, like pictures, we do it from here and we add an image and it's just adding images, and it's very easy to add. But if we want to add a video, we would need that video to be hosted somewhere else. So I can show you, for example, if we hit video, the first thing that will show us will be YouTube, our URL, or Google Drive. So if you want to add a video to your presentation, you need that video to be hosted somewhere. So for example, here I have a video from another presentation that it's a girl typing in a computer. So the way I can't, sorry, not sure. So the way I had to do it is this way, because I can't have the video the same way. I mean, it's possible, but it's not the most useful maybe. I would recommend you, if you want to add your videos to the presentation, to host them maybe in YouTube and then add the link through there, because that will make your presentation to be less, with less, not that heavy for your computer. Yeah, yeah. So that's my answer.
And does it also work for PowerPoint? If you insert a video on Google Slides and you download the template, does it also work in in PowerPoint, sorry?
So as far as I'm concerned, if you download the presentation with the link, it would be the same for PowerPoint, because it actually goes through a link. So it only would need to be connected to the internet. But if you, for example, don't have Wi-Fi or you don't have internet, it won't work, because as I said before, the video is not in your presentation as a picture. It's like on the internet. But if you want to add some content like similar to a video but it's shorter, I recommend you to use a GIF, which is because a GIF, you can actually put it the same as a picture and you will have the movement. It will be a little bit heavy on the presentation, but it has the same style as the video.
Okay, thank you so much, Carmen. And I think that this was the last question, but it's similar. Yeah, this is similar to the last one. I think that you have already told how to link a video in a presentation. So,
okay. So if there are no other questions, I think we have come to the end of our first webinar. And on behalf of all the Slidesgo team, we want to thank you all for being there. We hope there will be many more webinars to come. I also invite you to leave us your opinion on our social media channels. I already left all the links in the chat, and we are looking forward to reading your comments there. Thank you, Paola, Carmen, and Paula, for the great content. And finally, remember that all of you who registered will receive the replay tomorrow. We will try to send it tomorrow so that you can watch it again and keep taking notes and revising all the useful content that we have seen here today. And thank you again, and have a great day.
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you very much.